Tillamook Today. Well, today we're supposed to talk about health. Health is pretty important for all of us. We want to live a long and good quality life. And today we're going to talk about court-appointed special advocates, or CASA. We all want a good house. We all want a good place to protect us, and CASA is a really important program here in Tillamook County to meet the needs of children. And today on Tillamook Today, we have Vanessa Jennings, who's the coordinator of the CASA program and works with a lot of CASA volunteers. And we have Larry Goss, who is a CASA volunteer. And we're going to get into the details. But I just wanted to talk for a few moments about child health. 1969, a long time ago, I was in Ethiopia, and I saw children starving to death. And it was very, very moving. And I came from a small town in Northern California, had not seen such things before, and was very wet behind the ears. And I saw all this tragedy with children. And then I came back to the U.S. and I started realizing that, and as it gotten more and more this way as I've gotten older, that you don't have to go hardly 500 feet or a mile from where you live anywhere in the U.S., and there are abused and neglected children that need care and need the support of families. Here in Tillamook County, we have a lot of foster families, and we have homes where children are frankly abused and neglected, and we could go into great details. I wanted to use the situation from Ethiopia to contrast. I can't go because of confidentiality issues. We can't go into any details about particular cases here in Tillamook County. Welcome to Tillamook Today, Vanessa and Larry. What is CASA? Could you expand on it, and how important is it? What's been your experience with CASA being a court-appointed special advocate here in Tillamook County, Larry?
Well, as to how important it is, I would say that it's quite important, although it's not always apparent how important it is, but it turns out that it's very important. I regard the CASA program primarily as, and I'm going to say this again, Jim, the de facto CASA is a de facto investigator for the Judiciary Department. CASAs make reports every time there's a review hearing on a case involving the children who are in care. And then also, again, they make reports to give to the Citizens Review Board. Citizens Review Board people make reports to the courts, but they don't have the kind of access that a CASA has. CASAs have very nearly intimate access into the homes and the lives of the children that they serve. And they quite often come up with information, dig out information that no one else knows about. And we can report that information to the courts and bring issues to light that need to be addressed. And quite often turn out to be very serious issues.
So there's a bit of sleuthing involved with it. So let's say you have and I'm going to be very general here, you have a 3-year-old kid that has 15 or 20 broken bones, and the child has been taken out of the home and put into a foster care, and so the parents are all caught up in the court system. Exactly what all is involved? So there will be a lawyer for the parent, there's a lawyer for the state. Could you expand on it?
There's a lawyer for the child.
And a lawyer for the child.
When a child comes into the system and gets under the care of the court, the judge assigns a CASA, and I find one of my CASAs who's available to help that child. Because CASA's HIPAA exempt, we're able to speak to the doctor. For instance, a child with that many broken bones probably went to OHSU. We're able to talk to the doctor that's the head of abuse. We're able to find out how the child's doing, what's being done to fix him.
To try to fix the child.
Bones. We can monitor the visits with the parents. We can monitor how the conditions in the foster home are for the child and follow the court case.
What about in dealings with the parents? Let's say the parent had neglected the child and abused the child in this instance, so the CASA will meet with the parent, but the fundamental issue is looking out for
the best interest of the child. It's very important to talk to everyone and know everyone in that child's world so you can form a complete picture of where that child came from and what that child needs. Usually the parents have been victims of trauma themselves, and we're try to facilitate helping them get services. DHS provides the services, but we can monitor whether they're accessing those services and find out their progress with services, and if they become able to reunify with their child. The best thing for every child is usually to be reunified with the parents. Everybody needs a family and a home. So that's our ultimate goal. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes.
So if a young mother is living alone with her 3 children, and she's gotten into drugs and alcohol, and the children have been taken away, ultimately the CASA and the system is trying to reunify those children with that mother if she's been put into rehab and other things. So really looking out for what is in the best interests of each one of those children and trying to keep them together and back with their mother if indeed that is feasible.
Possible,
so,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important when you take children out of a home, a sibling group, to try and keep the siblings together. It builds continuity for the child.
We'll come right back to that, but for a few moments I want to talk about Tillamook Country Smoker. You want the real thing, quality beef right out of the smokehouse. Tillamook Country Smoker is pulling out a batch for you right now. Tillamook Country Smoker has several large smokehouses and many drying rooms packed with row after row of smoked meats. They ship thousands of pounds throughout the world every day. Visit the retail store on Warren Street at Highway 101 in Bay City. They're open 9 to 5, 7 days a week, and try to discover the secret ingredient to your favorite flavor of jerky. A family-owned business that's been turning out a unique brand of beef jerky for over 40 years. Stop by the retail store and pick up some 2-foot-long pepperoni, teriyaki, and beef sticks. They're only $1. And have you tried their summer sausage? It's the real deal, not that greasy tasting stuff those other guys make. Tillamook Country Smoker, if you're going to eat healthy, this is the way to do it. Be sure to visit them online at tcsjerky.com. And back to CASA, back to the court-appointed special advocate program that's offered here in Tillamook County and in other counties in Oregon, from what I understand. Let's see, where were we? So, how many children in foster care do we have in Tillamook County, approximately?
We have about 37 right now.
Uh-huh.
And except for 6 of them, they have court-appointed special advocates. We have 20 working CASAs at this time, and we just completed a training with 3 new volunteers. So we're building our ranks in Tillamook, and we're very happy about that.
And so every one of these is an investigator for the judge as she's trying or he's trying to figure out what is the best course of action to take with each one of these kids. How do I become a CASA if I'd like to become a CASA?
You can call or email the CASA office. We're at 503-842-8432, and our email address is tillamookcountycasa@gmail.com. We just completed a training program, but we'll have others coming up. So if you contact us, we'll send you an application and an oath of confidentiality and a description of what a CASA does in full.
Larry, in a general sense, what kind of a sleuth have you been the last few years? Have you had many cases, and how have you found it? Has it been a real fulfilling part of your young life?
Well, at times it's been kind of exciting, really. There was, in the very first case we had, we co-CASA'd, my wife and I, together. Mm-hmm. And we actually went into a motel and asked the clerk for the records of a certain evening, and we showed him our paper that says we're entitled to get information by law. So he quickly went and got the information, and we discovered information that was important to the case. Mm-hmm. And that I felt like I was being a private investigator at that point, and I didn't know really, was I really doing the right thing doing that, but mm-hmm. It turned out to be very useful information. Let's see, what else? That's a good question, because we do need to know what the medical problems, especially psychiatric information about the parents and the children themselves, because we need to know what kinds of services the parents need to get so that the children can be safely returned to them, which means that we have to push for, sometimes we have to push for psychiatric examinations for the parents. We have to know what these examinations reveal, and we have to put together the information from these examinations with information that we get from the court when the court took the children out of the home, and compare these things with the allegations to match up what needs to be done for the children with what the allegations are from the court. So all of this information is crucial.
So all the technical stuff involved with being a sleuth is kind of there in the fulfillment you get in finding out stuff. But then what about the general compassion you have for the feelings you have for the parents and the children, and wanting to help bring healing in the situation?
Yeah, those feelings build up over time. As you get to know people, you realize that they, as Vanessa said, the parents themselves most likely have been abused. Mm-hmm. They become victims of addiction, and they need help. And of course, our primary interest is the best interest of the child. And so we put that ahead of everything else. But quite often, the best interests of the child match up with the best interest of the parents who have themselves been abused. So we work hard to also see that the parents are getting the services they need. And it's the right thing to do. So we feel good about doing that.
And so if somebody wants to become a CASA, as Vanessa said, call 503-8432, 503-842-8432, and check in and see what it takes to become a CASA, or go to the Tillamook County CASA at gmail.com. So Tillamook County CASA at gmail.com will get you through to Vanessa and the program here in Tillamook County. As I understand it, the CASA volunteers meet each month, and so there's quite a bit of camaraderie, and they're all working for the health and well-being of children and the system, you might say, in Tillamook County to make it a more caring place. Now, 2016 is a year of wellness, and it seems like this whole project, CASA, fits very, very much in with this idea of county wellness that our county commissioners have helped move forward with a proclamation. And I think going into 2017, there's going to be more work in that direction. And so CASA has a lot. If you think in terms of mother and child health and what we can do to make Tillamook County a healthier, better place to give kids better options in growing up, it would seem like CASA is part of it. But clearly there's everywhere children are in Tillamook County, there are the needs. And so what do you think about this? Is kind of aside from CASA, what do we need for more parenting classes and more support upstream, you might say, to help us take care of our kids, our children, and youth better in Tillamook County?
I think it's very important because we know the effects of trauma and neglect and abuse on the ongoing health of children. There was an ACEs study done with
What does that mean? Adverse?
adverse childhood effects study.
Experiences.
And we found that children that have had many adverse circumstances in their life have a higher incidence of heart problems, diabetes, kidney failure, liver problems. They're much more prone to be addicted, and they have a higher incidence of suicide. So it's definitely a health problem if you're abused and neglected, and it's very important that we intervene in these children's lives and get them the services they need. We had a program with the Women's Resource Center where Romy Carver was going to the high schools and talking about healthy relationships and domestic violence and those kind of issues for the teenagers and middle school children of Tillamook County. Unfortunately, her grant got cut, but that was a very proactive, positive thing for our kids to hear. A lot of them haven't heard what a healthy relationship is, and they haven't lived with it.
So really, when you think about it, in many respects, health is all about relationships. Number one, beginning with how we relate to who am I and what's important to me and what's my mental health like. And so it's easy to focus on the children and the hard times that they've had, but at the same time, we have to think in terms of us as adults, as parents and mom and dad, to what can we do to do better by the children in our own lives and with the children in our community.
It
Time
definitely
to take a
affects our
few
community.
moments with Tillamook Motor Company. Okay, this is the time. And Tillamook Motor Company is definitely the place. Why is it the time? Well, because this is Ford Truck Month, where you can save big time on Ford F-Series, the number one selling trucks in America for 39 years straight. Wow. How does that keep happening, you ask? Because of trucks like Ford F-150 with game-changing innovation like a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body, making it up to 700 pounds lighter than the previous generation. Yay, and it doesn't stop there. F-150 is also the winner of a 2016 Kelley Blue Book 5-year Cost to Own Award. And if you're looking for a beast, look no further than Ford Super Duty, delivering best-in-class standard horsepower and torque. This is the time. Find your truck at Tillamook Motor Company on the friendly corners of 5th and 7th in downtown Tillamook, a better place to do business. So where were we? We were talking about ACEs, which Adverse Childhood Events study, which showed that the children that have three or more adverse events in their childhood have worse health outcomes than those who lived a very mellow life and were cared for with good food, nutrition, and parents that loved them and all the good stuff. So unfortunately for some in Tillamook County, that's not the case. And there are about 35 or 40 kids that have been taken out of homes because of challenges that their parents face. We've talked about how folks can get involved with CASA by calling 503-842-8432. Larry's told us about being a sleuth. Let's see. There are some events coming up for promoting the CASA program in Tillamook County. Would you share something about that?
Yes, I'd love to do that. The CASA program is not fully funded by the state of Oregon, in spite of the fact that we do serve the judiciary branch of the state of Oregon. Mm-hmm. There is funding, but it's not enough to really completely fund the program. There are expenses that would not be met if we didn't do some independent fundraising. And we usually have events. We had a successful bingo night. We had a dance night at the Grange one night. The next event coming up is going to be on August 27th, which is the same date as the Bay City Pearl Festival, but later in the day. You talked about the Tillamook Smoker. If you go up Highway 101 or down Highway 101, as the case may be, depending on where you live, and you turn west on Warren Street, which is the street that the Tillamook Smoker is on, and go about a half a block past the railroad tracks, you'll come to the Sheltered Nook Disc Golf Course. This is a brand new facility in the city of Bay City where people come to play a game known as disc golf, and you have a lot of fun. You toss these discs around, and you aim for the cages, and you try to get that disc into the cage, and it's just very much like the game of golf. Much fun and very good exercise to boot. So we're going to have this event, the inaugural CASA fundraising event, at the Sheltered Nook Disc Golf Course on August 27th on Warren Street, about a half a block past the railroad tracks. So I guess that would be west of the railroad tracks, since the tracks run north and south. So yeah, we'll say
Sounds
west.
about right.
Sounds about right. Yeah, the problem is Highway 101 is diagonal there. So just turn away from, as difficult as this is to conceive of doing, turn away from the Tillamook Smoker to go to this event at the Sheltered Nook course. There will be prizes. There will be T-shirts and other swag that you can get for the cost of enrolling in this
So you
event.
can give as much as you want. You can throw as many discs as you want. You just need to show up on August 27 at the Sheltered Nook, which is a new deal in Bay City. So let's see now. You said we have about 39 kids in foster care. I was thinking, in the sense of the system. What all's involved with the system with the foster kids? There are the attorneys. You want to say anything about the colorful attorneys in Tillamook County that are arguing on behalf of kids, and anything about the judiciary system? Yeah.
We have a very kind and compassionate judge. She has a big heart for the children that come into our system, Judge Trevino. We have a group of lawyers that represent, in turn, the parents or the children in every court case. They're very passionate, and they're excellent lawyers. We're very lucky with the people we have representing the children and parents of Tillamook County. We have a very colorful attorney, assistant attorney general that represents DHS during these court cases. We're very lucky that we have such a compassionate, passionate group representing them. And, of course, the CASA representing the best interest of the child, because the child's attorney is focused on what the child says he wants, which isn't always the best interest, and the mother and father's attorney, of course, represent those interests. And it's...
What you've said speaks to the whole idea that health is not just about preventing the measles and the mumps and rubella and polio and all that, but it's creating a healthy social environment where children can be taken care of, and that some of these situations arise because in some ways maybe our culture has not been as caring and nurturing for young teenagers growing up who then get involved with drugs and have 3 or 4 children, and then get involved with the court system, and then the kids are in all kinds of trouble, and the parents are too. Well, thank you very much, Vanessa and Larry, for joining us today. We have about a minute and a half left, and I want to cover some important items, and if there's any time left, we'll come back. Otherwise, we'll just wish you and the CASA program the very best, and all of the children and moms and dads in Tillamook County, as we all work for a happier, healthier Tillamook County. Today, we're going to talk about birthdays. Randy Shield has a birthday, and Mary Moran, and Robert Bettis, and Bill Schonely, and Bob and Elva Weeks have their anniversary coming up, or maybe it's already happened. Tomorrow, Lisa Greiner will be back with Bruce Rhodes, Foundation Director for Tillamook School District. Lisa Greiner will be back with Bruce Rhodes. Senior meals are 11:30 a.m. at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's senior meals, 11:30 a.m. St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Senior meals noon every day at Kiwanda Community Center in Pacific City. The cost is $3, $3 for seniors, and $6.75 for everyone else. So if you're 19, watch out. You're going to have to pay $6.75. There's a work party from 11 to 12 at the Nehalem American Legion Cemetery on Necarney City Road in Nehalem. A work party cleaning up the American Legion Cemetery. This evening, the Horseshoe Club. Wow, that sounds fun. Horseshoe Club season starts up at 6 at the Elks Club Park, 6 miles south of Tillamook off Highway 101. The season goes all summer, closes in September. For more information, call 503-812-2317, 503-812-2317 for the Horseshoe Club. And if you would like to become a CASA volunteer, call 503-848-432, 503-842-8432, and help Tillamook County become a healthier place for kiddies. Thank you. Bye.